Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Mama June desperate to move from constant nightmare. Mama June Shannon is admitting that she is ready to move from her constant nightmare. Over the last year or so, her world has been turned upside down. So, does she want to physically move, or is it more of a mental situation? Keep reading for further details. When Mama June Shannon had her wedding shower dinner, she was on bad terms with her daughters. Yet she had not told this to her husband, Justin Strud's family. Therefore, they were waiting and expecting to meet Alana Honey Boo Boo Thompson. Where was she? Luckily, June had somehow reconnected with her oldest child, Anna Cardwell, so she'd attended the party. At the same time, she had just had a procedure done and was in visible pain. The family reconciled in time for June and Justin's vow renewal in Florida in early 2023, but were thrown for a loop weeks later. Anna shared that she had stage 4 adrenal carcinoma. Quickly, she got married to her longtime boyfriend, Eldridge Toney, but struggled with mortality. She did not want to think about plans for her daughters, Kylie and Caitlin, in case anything were to happen to her. Anna passed away in December 2023 with her family by her side. She had been staying with her mother and June's husband, Justin Strud, but those memories are haunting. According to People, June is ready to leave that home ASAP. We're hoping to be able to move soon because Anna passed away in our home. And for me and Justin and Caitlin, it's just a constant remembering. For Mama June, the house holds too many harsh memories and where she watched her daughter leave this world. This is where everything happened. We are living in a constant nightmare, but for me, for the last 6 months, it's been a struggle. I got emotional earlier today. It is just really, am I going to wake up from this nightmare? The whole family seems to feel like they are stuck in a nightmare and are waiting for it to end. Anna Cardwell left behind her 2 daughters as well as 3 sisters, Alana, Pumpkin, and Jessica Shannon. Mama June is ready to exit the home she watched Anna Cardwell suffer and pass away in. However, her other daughters feel the pain of not seeing their sister every day. Jessica Shannon noted she is just trying to keep the good times in the forefront. There's moments that I do feel sad. Anna wasn't a really emotional person, but for me it is just trying to remember her in all the good ways. I want to try to erase all of the bad couple of days. It is hard for June as she currently has custody of Anna's eldest, Caitlin, who is very much like her mother. So she catches herself comparing the two, but Caitlin is quick to remind Mama June who she is. That is Caitlin and not Anna. In the small town of Blantyre, Georgia, June Shannon, better known to the world as Mama June, was living a life she never anticipated. The bright lights of reality television had faded, replaced by a constant, gnawing dread that hung over her like a dark cloud. The past few years had been a whirlwind of chaos, heartbreak, and relentless scrutiny, turning what once was a loving home into a battlefield of emotions. June sat on the edge of her bed, her eyes tracing the familiar patterns of the peeling wallpaper. It had been years since the cameras first rolled into their lives, capturing the hilarity and heartwarming moments of her unconventional family. But now the laughter felt like a distant memory, buried under layers of regret and sorrow. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand, snapping her back to reality. It was a message from her daughter, Lauren Pumpkin Shannon. "Mama, we need to talk. It's important." June's heart sank. She knew what was coming. The family meetings had become more frequent, each one more painful than the last. She couldn't blame them. Her choices had led them down this path of destruction. The weight of her decisions bore heavily on her, and the guilt was a constant companion. She made her way to the living room, where Pumpkin, Alana Honey Boo Boo Thompson, and Jessica Chubbs Shannon were already waiting. The tension in the room was palpable, and June felt a pang of anxiety as she took her seat. Pumpkin, the de facto matriarch in June's absence, spoke first. Mama, we've been talking, and we think it's time for a change. This isn't working anymore. We can't keep living like this. June nodded, her eyes brimming with tears. She knew they were right. The past few years had been a nightmare, a constant cycle of addiction, legal troubles, and public humiliation. She had lost sight of who she was, and in the process, had almost lost her family. I know, June whispered, her voice breaking. I've been trying to get my life back on track, but it's hard. Every day is a struggle. Alana, her youngest and once the star of the show, looked at her with a mix of frustration and sadness. Mama, we love you, but we can't keep living in this constant nightmare. We need stability, and we need you to be there for us. Really be there. The words cut deep, and June felt a wave of shame wash over her. She had always prided herself on being a strong, independent woman, but now she felt like a shadow of her former self. She had to do something, anything, to make things right. You're right, June said, her voice firmer now. I need to get out of this place. It's like a prison, reminding me of all my mistakes. We need a fresh start, somewhere far away from all this. Pumpkin's eyes softened, and she reached out to hold her mother's hand. We can do this together, Mama. We'll find a new place, somewhere we can start over. But you have to promise to stay clean and get the help you need. June nodded vigorously, a spark of determination igniting within her. I promise. I'll do whatever it takes to make things right. I just want my family back. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. The family scoured the internet for a new home, somewhere that could offer them the peace and anonymity they so desperately craved. They settled on a small town in North Carolina, far from the prying eyes of the media and the ghosts of their past. The move was both physically and emotionally exhausting, but it brought a sense of hope that had been missing for so long. As they unpacked boxes and arranged furniture in their new home, June felt a weight lift off her shoulders. This was their chance to rebuild, to heal the wounds that had festered for too long. June threw herself into her recovery with renewed vigor, attending meetings and therapy sessions with a determination she hadn't felt in years. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but the thought of losing her family was a powerful motivator. Slowly but surely, the fog of addiction began to lift, and she started to rediscover the woman she once was. The change in June had a profound impact on her daughters. They began to see glimpses of the loving, caring mother they had known before everything fell apart. The tension in the house eased, replaced by a sense of cautious optimism. There were still difficult days, but they faced them together, drawing strength from each other. One evening, as the sun set over their new home, June and her daughters gathered on the porch. The air was filled with the sounds of crickets and the distant laughter of neighbors. It was a far cry from the turmoil they had left behind. June looked at her daughters, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. I know we've been through a lot, she said, her voice filled with emotion. But I want you to know how much I love you and how sorry I am for everything. We're going to make this work. I promise. Pumpkin smiled, her eyes glistening with tears. We love you too, Mama, and we're proud of you. This is a new beginning for all of us. As they sat together, watching the last rays of sunlight fade into the night, June felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. They had a long road ahead, but for the first time in a long time, it felt like they were moving in the right direction. They were no longer trapped in a constant nightmare. They were a family ready to face whatever came their way, together.